Ah yes, the Hyundai Sonata. It's Hyundai's bread and butter family sedan that competes in the fiercely competitive midsize sedan segment. Now I've already shown you a 2011 Sonata, but like every other midsize in the class, there are several trims available and two different engines. This one is the Limited, just like last time, but it has Hyundai's then new for 2011 2-liter turbo direct injection 4-cylinder engine, replaces the V6 in the vehicle. Now back in 2011 when this car was first introduced, it quickly became called the segment leader for its class. So 2 years down the road with new entries from the Ford Fusion and the Honda Accord and the Nissan Altima, does Hyundai still represent the class leader in terms of design, fuel economy, and style? Well, let's find out. Now, being that this is Hyundai's midsize family sedan, it's a very important vehicle for the brand, or any brand for that matter, that tries to compete in this competitive segment. Now, for 2011, the Sonata was completely redesigned from the previous model. It's kind of like the fact how Ford has completely redesigned the Fusion for 13. The previous gen and the current gen doesn't look anything alike. Now, the vehicle is available in 3 trims. There's the base GLS, the mid-level SE, which Hyundai kind of bills more as the sportier model, and then there's the Limited. From there you can choose between the base 2.4 direct injection 4, or you can get the optional 2-liter turbo, which is available on the SE, or the Limited. Now you can distinguish a 2.0T in the rear mostly from the dual exhaust, which you can actually get on the SE. So, but the big giveaway will be the badge on the back, that 2.0T badge with a blue T. I guess because Hyundai wants to signify that the T means something for fuel economy, but it really should be red, I think. Now, the Limited actually comes standard with 17-inch wheels. You can distinguish a Limited with a turbo because it has those gorgeous 18-inch wheels. I like those wheels a lot better than the smaller 17s that I showed you before. They just feel the wheel wells out a lot better now. The swoopy coupe-like styling has been on the market for 2 years now. Of course, it's not the first vehicle to have the swoopy styling. That goes to the Mercedes CLS a long time ago. But in terms of how the styling has aged, I don't think the vehicle looks dated, but at the same time, I never was a fan of this grille. It's huge, the weird headlights. The silhouette of the vehicle, though, going to the back is okay. I still prefer the styling of the sibling, the Kia Optima. And of course, I think Ford has done a better job with the swoopy coupe-like styling, which I personally think the award for the best looking vehicle still goes to the current Fusion. But the Sonata is kind of like that curvy feminine taste. The Kia Optima still has that more Audi look because it was obviously designed by Peter Schweier, who used to be for Audi. But in terms of, features, content, the vehicle still has a pretty premium look. I'm not really complaining too much about the styling. I do like the dual exhausts as opposed to the other Limited that didn't have any chrome outlets at all. Now, the Limited Sonata comes standard with Hyundai's push-button start and proximity key. Here's the huge key that will go in your pocket or your purse. To lock the vehicle, you push this button right here, and that locks the vehicle with a little beep to unlock it. You don't touch here, you have to push the button here. It's a little bit of an older design. Now coming to the interior at least, this one has the black interior as opposed to the beige black that I showed you in the other one. It's a pretty nice combination with the black exterior. Now stepping inside, duck your head again because of that low roof and that swoopy coupe styling. There's the button to start the engine, so put your foot on the brake and then push the button. Still the same gauges. I actually like the gauges in this vehicle more than the Kia Optima. Now, shutting the door, the window is only automatic up-down for the driver. It's not for the passenger or the backseat passengers. A little bit of a silly omission. Other cars in the class offer at least the 2 front windows. The interior in here is all, familiar stuff. The vehicle's been on the market for a couple of years. It's got that swoopy styling that the exterior kind of has, so it kind of carries over to the inside. You have soft touch dashboard materials that has a pretty good graining. It's not very softly padded, and right here is actually hard plastic, but everything in here fits together pretty well, much better than the 2011 Camry of this generation. The door panels are all soft touch plastic with this matte finish, plastic that actually looks decent. I kind of wish it was more silver as opposed to the black. It's leather stitched right here and then just padded, same material as the upper door panels here. The plastics, on the other hand, for the window switches, I'm not really a big fan of them. They kind of feel a little cheap to me. Now, coming to the steering wheel, this is my biggest gripe with the Sonata, the current Sonata. I hate this ugly steering wheel. Excuse my my taste for it. But I hate how it's not fully leather wrapped. It's plastic around here, or it's vinyl. It's not fully leather wrapped, but it's leather wrapped there. I just think that was a cheap omission. The paddle shifters are on the turbo model, so I'll show you guys how that goes. Now, all turbo 2.0s are linked to a 6-speed automatic with a manual mode. There's no sport mode, so don't expect it to find a sport mode, just the manual shift mode. You do get dual zone automatic climate control in the Limited, and then of course you have Hyundai's just their standard stereo system. There's no backup camera in this model. You have to get the premium package to get the backup camera. And of course this one has Hyundai's special outlet for an iPod. You have to actually buy this from the dealership. I believe they're actually starting to do away with these and just make it so you don't need to buy this separate cord. Now, coming to the glove box, it is damped. It's a pretty decent size. It's not lined with felt, but it's class competitive. The center console here actually has 2 levels. That's pretty nice. But there is no power port in there. So all the power ports and such are actually in there. I kind of wish they should have at least put one in there. Some people like to put their cell phones in there. Now, coming to the back seat, it's a pretty class competitive back seat. The floor is actually almost completely flat in the middle, so that's a nice feature. There's no vents, however, back here. Even on this Limited model, the 2013 models may have vents now. The roofline is pretty low, again, because of the swoopy coupe-like styling. You do get an armrest back here with cup holders. And I want you to notice something. The seat fabric is actually two-tone. It's cloth inserts with leather, which the leather doesn't feel very high quality. It kind of feels like vinyl. I believe if you got in the premium package back then, it would have given you full leather. There is pretty nice, you know, matte pockets for both seats, and the door panels are carried over. It's the same soft touch materials, and they give you pretty decent storage as well. Now, the trunk of the Sonata is actually on the big side, and the beeping that you hear is because I've taken the key out. It's about 15.5 cubic feet, maybe closer to 16. Still has the gooseneck hinges. They will crush your cargo if you don't rearrange it perfectly. You do get a 60-40 split, and then your spare tire is underneath there. But it's a pretty good sized trunk. And then under the stylish hood of the Sonata, you'll find Hyundai's then all-new 2-liter turbo gasoline direct injection. That's what GDI stands for. It actually makes the most power out of the 4-cylinder turbos in the class. 274 horsepower according to them, and 269 foot-pounds of torque. It actually has almost 30. It has about 34 more than the Fusion, the 13 Fusion Titanium. But I haven't driven the car with the turbo, so this will kind of be my unfiltered, unbiased review or first drive of this vehicle. I want to see if it actually drives quicker than a Fusion Titanium. I've driven that, and we'll see if you can actually feel those 34 horses. Paired with only the 6-speed auto, that's always been my biggest gripe with Hyundai 6-speed auto. It's a little bit slower shifting, but let's take a look at how it drives. Now, Hyundai was the first mid-size family sedan to get rid of the V6 engine and replace it with a 2-liter turbo. So let's see how it drives, how the original drives. I really like the push-button start in this vehicle. I'm glad that it has it. Now, as soon as you drive the Sonata, I don't know if you guys have actually driven the Sonata yet, you'll notice a couple things. The visibility in this vehicle is not the best. You have this really thick A-pillar right here. You have a really fat, D-pillar in the back because of the low roofline, the swoopy styling. And the steering in this vehicle is just typical Hyundai. It really does not inspire much confidence. It really doesn't have a lot of feel. It doesn't inspire much confidence, and they've substituted effort for weight here. Now, the one thing that they really did improve on, though, from the base engine is the speed. The 2-liter turbo is quick. I don't want to say it's faster than a Fusion Titanium. I'd probably need to drive the two back-to-back like immediately, but it's got really good mid-range. I will give you this though, the Fusion Titanium with the 2-liter sounds better. Hyundai just needs to work on the way their 4-cylinders sound. They just don't have a very aurorally pleasurable experience from my taste. But like I said, the steering in this vehicle is awful. It doesn't, Hyundai really needs to learn how to tune a steering to be sporty, yet still give you feel. It's electric steering, and what they've done is they made the steering really heavy in an effort to actually make the steering feel responsive, but it doesn't. It just feels fake, and it feels like it was tuned by an amateur, somebody who doesn't know how to tune a steering properly for sporty driving. If you guys drive the Fusion, the Accord, the Altima, they will all have better steering than this vehicle. The ride in the vehicle is pretty good. The 18s do affect the ride quality somewhat, as you do have bumps crash over the vehicle a little bit more. Now, one of the big reasons why people buy a mid-size sedan is just so they can take it on long road trips. And the Sonata would probably do well on a long road trip. Make sure you guys test out the seats, because the seats aren't very comfortable for me. I feel like I'm sitting on the seat rather than in the seats. There's a little bit more noise than I thought this vehicle would have. It has about 19,000 miles, just under 20. It has a tad bit of turbo lag, but once the turbo kicks in, it has really good mid-range pull. It just doesn't sound very good to me. The thing that is missing from this vehicle is the latest technology stuff, such as blind spot information, forward collision warning. That's all available on the Fusion and the Accord now. It's missing on the Sonata, so that's the reason why it has that value card. And you can pick one of these up fully loaded for probably about $4,000 less than an Accord Touring or a Fusion Titanium. But it is missing some of the latest tech gadgets, even on the 2013 model. So make sure you guys are okay with that if you don't really care to have all the latest stuff in here. Turning radius is pretty good though. It's fast. I will give Hyundai that. The 2-liter turbo is pretty quick, and they did a really good job for their first effort at a turbo. So I would highly recommend the turbo model over the regular model, because this one gets 2233 as opposed to 2234. Really no big difference. The same as the Fusion Titanium. So if you guys are in the market for a mid-size famous sedan, you guys know it's fiercely competitive. I personally like the Fusion more, but the Sonata is a good runner-up if you have to have the swoopy coupe-like styling, and the 2-liter turbo is pretty strong. I would still suggest the Optima. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll catch you all later.